You can order the Junior Geography Teachers Pack, price £4, the Pupils City Park Workbook and City Street Workbook, price £3 each, the Fair Isle Poster, price £2 and 4pence, and the Trees Software, price £19.21, by contacting your local ITV company. Or send a cheque or postal order to Schools Office, Thames Television, 149 Tottenham Court Road, London, W1P 9LL.
Here we are in Tring Market, which is right on the edge of Hertfordshire. This is my local market, and I come here most weeks with cattle, as it's very convenient. We can bring the cattle in ourselves straight off the farm here to be sold.
18 kilos both ways, £5, 5 mid, 25, 25, 25, 25, 35, 35, 30, up 35, 35, 40, 5, 45, 50, 5, 50, 5, 50, 5, 50, 5, 50, up 5, 50, 5, 70, 5, 70, 5, 70, 5, 70, 5, 70, 5, 70, 5, 70, 5, 70, up 5, 70, 5, 70, 85, 85, 85, 80, 95, 95, 90.
This is a livestock market for sheep and fat cattle. The fat cattle are sold here today, and it's local butchers and a few wholesale buyers. That is the buying for the meat trade, which for the supermarkets.
Righto, let her out the trap, 645. Number is, Robert. 96, 645, 2 A's. There we are, better count boy this time, 74s.
We always try to make a profit. I won't say it always happens, but that is our aim, is to go out and make as much money as we possibly can out of the animals.
That's going to be 1 pences, Aro.
Jimmy Hunter runs a mixed farm in Hertfordshire. These children from Downley Middle School have been invited to spend the day with Jimmy to find out what's involved in running a successful farm business. The farm is a typical large farm, given over to crops and grazing land for cows and beef cattle. Jimmy runs the farm with the help of his son, Duncan, who looks after the milking, and his wife, Christine, who does the wages and accounts. He also employs 3 other people. There are about 100 dairy cows on the farm, which are milked twice a day.
What sort of cows have you got?
What sort of cows? Well, as you can see, there's brown and white ones and there's the black and white ones. The black and white ones are Friesians and the brown and white ones are Ayrshires. They're all pedigree, so they all have got a background. We know their mothers and fathers, right through the whole family. As you can see, they're always in a hurry when they get near the farm. When they come in from milking, they get a little bit of food in the troughs. They look forward to that because that's it's a little bit of a bonus to them. Although they've been eating grass all the day, they like something different when they come in.
Have you got a favourite cow?
Yes, yes, we always have a favourite cow. My one's in that bunch somewhere. I think she's away near the back. She's called Vernon.
Do the cows produce milk all the time?
Not quite. A cow has got to have a calf every year. Then it milks, it goes into milk production, and it milks for about 10 months of the year. Then it has 2 months actually of rest to give it a little bit of a holiday, ready to build up to the next year.
How much milk does each cow produce?
A cow, after she's been freshly calved, if we take this one just beside of us, She is giving about 10 gallons a day at the moment. That is equivalent to 80 pint bottles which you have delivered on your doorstep. We are limited by how much we can produce. The farm here is under a quota. That is, the government allows us to produce so much milk, and I've got to keep within that amount. If I go over that amount, I get penalised. I've got to pay a levy. That's a sort of penalty I have for producing too much milk.
Where does all the milk go?
It is picked up here in the morning by our transporter. It's picked up every day of the year. Christmas Day, Boxing Day, the lot. It all goes to the local dairy where it is pasteurised and bottled up, ready for delivery to your doorstep the following day. This is a very large farm in this part of the county of Hertfordshire. It's not as big as some of the ones in other parts of the county, but it's good for here.
What do you grow here?
We grow oilseed rape, winter wheat, winter barley, spring barley, and maize. And we've also got lots of grass for the cattle. The winter wheat is all mainly going for export. We've got milling wheat as well, which is all used for making the bread for your breakfast and for your food. And the spring barley is all going for making the beer.
But Jimmy doesn't grow the same crops in the same fields each year. He practices crop rotation. Each year he moves the crops around so that each field has 2 years of wheat, then 2 years of barley, and finally a year of oilseed rape. The rape is grown to make margarine and cooking oil and helps put back goodness into the soil and prevents disease being passed on to the grain crops from year to year.
Do you use chemicals on your fields?
Yes, we do use chemicals. If we didn't use them, the field would be full of weeds and also disease. Where we're standing at the moment, this hasn't had a chemical at this stage yet. As you can look around, you can see some of the weeds growing on top of the crop. So if we didn't use chemicals to keep the weeds down, the fields will get worse and worse every year.
Jimmy keeps careful accounts to make sure that the amount of money he gets from selling his produce is greater than the costs of running the farm, so that he makes a good profit at the end of each year.
We're trying to get a blend between quality and quantity. We're trying to improve the quality of our wheats. This is for milling. But at the same time, we still want a good yield quantity as well to leave us a bit of profit in it.
Do you use much machinery on your farm?
Yes, we do. As we're quite a large farm for this area, we have got 4 or 5 tractors, combine, big sprayer, a lot of very modern equipment. You see beside me we've got a tractor here. This is what we call a 4-wheeled drive tractor. This costs about £32,000. A combine harvester for doing the harvesting. Today a combine costs us about £85,000 to £90,000.
How do you see the future for farmers?
Well, over the next 2-3 years it's going to be very, very difficult for farmers to make any profit at all. During the past year, there's about 6,000 farmers who went out of business. it's going to be very, very difficult as we're getting less for our produce. For everything we sell on the farm, we're getting less now than we did 4 years ago.
The way the land is farmed has changed over hundreds of years and is still changing. But some people think that modern methods are not always a good thing and that the old ways are often better than the new. Julian Rose owns a small farm and market garden in Oxfordshire. Although it's just as important to him as Jimmy Hunter to make a profit, he tries to make sure that his produce is as natural as possible. The children went to find out about a very different sort of farm.
How large is your farm and what sort of farm is it?
The farm's approximately 120 hectares, and it's an organic farm. Now, an organic farm is a farm that doesn't use any artificial pesticides or fertilizers, no artificial sprays. It makes the most possible use of natural resources. So when there's animals ranging on the ground, you use the droppings and manure that comes from those animals to return to the soil again, to improve the fertility of the soil. We also grow crops, which are fed either to the livestock or sold, sometimes for bread making or for cereals or whatever. We specialize on this farm in good quality, fresh food. The farm also has a number of different enterprises on it. You'll notice here we're standing amongst the chickens, but we also have free-range pigs. We have sheep running outside all the time. We have dairy cows, and we have beef. And so there's a lot of different animals running around. And it's also important on an organic farm that there's a lot of variety, so that there's lots of different sorts of things which these animals are eating, different types of grasses. They'll have, for instance, herbs in them. They'll probably have clover in amongst those herbs. And in the crops, for instance, in the oats crop, there is some weeds growing in them. We don't mind that as an organic farmer. We find that this improves the way the wildlife comes onto a farm. We work with nature. Wherever possible, we use nature to help us farm.
Where does all the produce go?
Well, the majority of the produce goes very locally. In fact, it goes to little villages and towns in this area of South Oxfordshire. Some of it goes up to London and goes to specialized outlets that sell organic food, small shops largely. Some of it goes even to restaurants.
Milk produced on the farm is delivered by Julian himself to local customers. The milk is unusual in that it is untreated and bottled straight from the cow.
What sort of cows are these?
These are called Guernsey cows. They produce a very rich, creamy milk. They don't produce quite as much of it as Frisian cows do. They're the black and white ones that a lot of other farmers have. But they do produce very, very good quality milk. Most milk is pasteurized, which means it's been heat treated. This milk hasn't been heat treated. It means it's really natural milk, virtually straight from the cow. And the milk is bottled on our farm and taken on a delivery round to the households in the area of the farm. So it's always fresh.
Part of Julian's farm is a market garden which grows organic fruit and vegetables. Ian Tolhurst looks after that side of the business. While they were on the farm, the children offered to help Ian to pick the strawberries.
I think I might try one.
Oh, and I dare you.
That's nice, Stacey. Nice.
They are.
We're going to weigh them on the scales, and when we weigh them, we put the organic label on, because it's going to go in the van and go down to the farm shop later on. You see where we sell them. So you can weigh them on the scales, put them on there, and make sure they're the right weight. Be careful with them. That's it. And then you put the label on, put it on the box, and then we stack the boxes down there on the floor.
I think the future for farmers depends a great deal on what the consumer or the customer is going to decide they want to buy. So, as regards organic farmers, I'm fairly confident that we'll have rather a good future, because I hope and I think that the housewife and the customers will want to buy organic food.
The farmer. The farmer will never be happy again. He carries his heart in his boots, for either the rain is destroying his grain, or the drought is destroying his roots.
You may speak if you can to this querulous man, though I should not attempt to be funny, and if you insist, he will give you a list of the reasons he's making no money.
In fact, when you meet this unfortunate man, the conclusion is only too plain, that nature is just an elaborate plan to annoy him again and again.